Hi, and welcome to the premiere edition of Backstage Movie News. My name is Mike Petro. Since I graduated film school, and that was a while ago as you might have guessed, my life has been about film, watching, studying, and creating. Through this series, I would like to share some of my love of cinema with you. Backstage Movie News is different in that we're going to focus on what I like to call the stars behind the stars. That's some of those people that you usually never see and who only get a few seconds of glory as their names flash by either before or after the film. We'll be meeting writers, producers, directors, and many others that stay behind the scenes. They are the ones that really make those stars shine. We are going to start off with a real blockbuster and some amazing talent. That's the newest Ron Howard and Dan Brown collaboration, Inferno. We have interviews that include both Dan Brown and Ron Howard, and I'm going to end with a theatrical trailer to give you a look at the movie itself. However, let me set it up for you by telling you a little bit about the film. Inferno is the third film in the Da Vinci Code franchise, but it's actually Dan Brown's fourth novel, released in 2013. The Lost Symbol, his third Robert Langdon book, was written in 2009 and has so far been set aside by filmmakers. Brown's popular mystery suspense novels are a natural progression of his life. His father was a mathematician and his mother a schoolteacher. They fostered a love of mystery, puzzles, and creative thinking in their children. On Christmas morning, the young Brown would find no presents under the tree, but clues to a puzzle to find his treasure. Inferno is a suspense thriller that takes us on an incredible journey to solve a cryptic puzzle. Completed in 1320, a year before his death, the Italian author Dante wrote a poem that established many of our modern concepts about hell. The Italian word for hell is inferno. Cerca trova, wrote Dante, seek and find. Throughout the movie, Robert Langdon takes us on a modern-day thrilling search for solutions to the puzzle that Brown was inspired to create by Dante's 14th century masterpiece. Seek and find is exactly what Robert Langdon is going to do. Dante's death mask holds the key to solving the puzzle, but someone has stolen it. Chasing the clues is quite a search, as a huge 70% of the film was shot on location in the cities of Venice, Florence, Budapest, and Istanbul. Let's connect now to Dan Brown and Florence. Dan, why Florence for this project?
Location is a character in all of these novels, and clearly, Ron has turned this into a location in the movie. Here we are. It's not a green screen; it's the real thing. And if you're gonna talk about Dante, you got to talk about Florence.
You worked with Ron Howard and Tom Hanks on the previous project. How was it this time?
I have been so fortunate to work with Ron Howard and Tom Hanks, two of the very best filmmakers out there, and I've had the luxury of just being able to relax and say, I'm in fantastic hands, and just watch the process. It's been a lot of fun.
Can you tell us about the cast?
One of the great things about the way this movie is cast, and the way all these movies have been cast, is that it's an international cast. When you have Italian characters, Ron casts Italian characters. We don't have American actors pretending to be Italian. These are authentic Italians, and it's just a lot of fun to watch.
Tell us a little about how you feel about having your words changed, shortened, and adapted.
These novels all take many years to write. Inferno took 3 years, a year of research here in Florence, a couple years of writing. And what's so funny is that when they get adapted into movies, it's an entirely different process. Writing is very solitary, it's very slow. Making movies is a cast of thousands. It takes so many of you guys to make a movie, and it's a much better spectator sport than watching a writer.
Ron Howard and you certainly seem to make a team.
I consider him a friend. I have enormous respect for his talent. In particular, the way he runs a movie set. I mean, he just leads by example. Everybody's calm. Everybody's working hard. He's an absolute pleasure to be around in every sense of the word. He's just a terrific guy and extremely talented.
Tom Hanks has taken on the persona of your main hero, Robert Langdon. How do you feel about him in that role?
Who else other than Tom Hanks would you want to play Robert Langdon? I've been very, very fortunate, and it's been a lot of fun to watch him bring that character to life. He is, in real life, a very intelligent, very curious, self-educating person, and he's just perfect for that particular character.
You spent so much of your life on this project. Why do you still sound excited?
It's always exciting. It's a writer's life is strange. We're all alone, and then suddenly we're sort of out there with the rest of the world talking about what we're doing.
Thanks, Dan. The film is directed by Ron Howard, who made his directorial debut in 1978. Out of the 23 films made over more than 3 decades as a director, the only sequels he has chosen to take on are Angels and Demons and now Inferno. Ron is also talking to us from the press conference in Florence. Ron, how did Inferno become a movie?
Well, fortunately, I don't have to shoulder it alone, but we all read the book. In this case, we instantly felt like it was a really fresh, exciting movie opportunity for us to work on and for audiences to see. David Koepp, the screenwriter, he co-wrote Angels and Demons. I've worked with David before. He came in and had an immediate point of view about how to approach it, but that began a series of meetings, which some of them included Dan Brown and the executives at Sony, because if you did a literal adaptation of a Dan Brown novel, he admits it would be 5 or 6 hours long, and so you've got to make some choices.
Dan Brown has mentioned the importance of casting. Can you tell us a little bit about how you cast the film?
Well, casting is always so important, and in the case of this adaptation, I decided not to limit myself to the descriptions in the book. I wanted to deliver the spirit of those characters and their personalities to a large extent, but I didn't worry about nationality. I wanted as interesting an international cast as I could put together, but I wanted fascinating, charismatic figures in all of these roles. And I was able to go out and find them because the characters are interesting, the books are famous, and David Koepp's screenplay was very attractive.
Despite it being based on Dante's ancient writings, there is a unique presentation of good and bad, of old and new in this movie.
Well, technology is changing everything, and Dan Brown is nothing if not cutting edge about society, where it's going, and this kind of interesting tension between the past and the future, And he always puts his stories right on that intersection point. This one probably more than any of them, because when you're dealing with overpopulation, that's not theology, that's not a theory, that's not ancient history. That's of the moment, and we know it's going to impact our immediate future, and it's a bona fide controversy. We don't know how to solve it.
Tom and you obviously get along. What is the magic that you two have?
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's something that I look forward to. I have no anxiety about. The opposite. I know that he's also a great collaborator, and he's more than an actor who's going to come and create a remarkable performance for you. He's going to help you with the movie, but only when you ask. He's very polite about it, but he's an excellent producer, writer, and director, and I'm constantly picking his brain.
What was the process of actually shooting and working on real locations when so many movies nowadays are hardly leaving the green screen?
Well, the fun begins with the location scout, where you're going and you're imagining all of the possibilities, and you're having great lunches and meals and discussing the creative options at your disposal and the themes of the story and the history of the locations. And then you come to the hard, cold facts that you're going to have about 3 hours to shoot a scene that you'd normally shoot in a day, because that's all that the mayor's office can possibly give you, because so many tourists want to be there. That's why Dan Brown chose the location, because they're among the most popular, on the planet. But it makes for a tremendous creative journey and a great life experience, and so it's all worth the hassle.
Ron, thanks for your input and best wishes in your future films. So, go ahead, seek and find the nearest theater and see how the puzzle gets solved. A spoiler here, Dan Brown's ending is not the same as Ron Howard's. Thanks for watching. This is Mike for Backstage Movie News. See you at the movies. Now here's the trailer. I really hope they don't figure out where that death mask ended up.
There's a switch. If you throw it, half the people on Earth will die. But if you don't, in 100 years, the human race will be extinct. I left you a path. The hardest one yet. Only you can finish it. You are humanity's final hope.
Dante's Inferno.
Dante defined our modern conception of hell 700 years ago. Why Dante? Why this map of hell? Someone created a plague.
Without Professor Landon, no one could find the virus.
Oh my God.